What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Men Breakdown and Ending Explained. This is the latest movie from one of my favourite movie makers of all time, Alex Garland. After making such amazing movies like 28 Days Later, Ex Machina, and Annihilation, here we are. Jessie Buckley is also here after on a good run of her last two movies. I'm thinking of Ending Things and The Lost Daughter, which were just sublime. Here I had no idea what I was letting myself in for, as the trailer was just as confusing as the movie. Now, the director and writer Alex Garland said, "In this particular film, I especially wanted to step back because there's an element where the nature of the way it's interpreted by different people is what the film is. I am well aware a man explaining the ending of this film sort of flies in the face of the film, and I guess this is an ending mansplained. But I applaud this movie for being like all great art and making me think and be incredibly uncomfortable. We follow Harper, who has decided to go on a trip to the quiet English countryside, and it did have me mentally booking some Airbnbs. She's here to heal and move on after her husband killed himself, and we would learn over the course of the movie that, well, she wanted a divorce as she can no longer handle what appears to possibly be his depression and trauma. He was angry at her, blaming her for everything and for him wanting to commit suicide. And after he hits her, she cuts all ties forever, quite rightly, and seemingly tried to climb back into their flat. He did, and it's ambiguous as to whether he slipped or jumped on purpose, but either way, she seems to kind of blame herself, as he was trauma dumping and putting everything on her incredibly unfairly. Now, after arriving at the stunning estate, she scrumps an apple, which is a very on-the-nose metaphor for Eve committing the first sin in the Bible. Man, women, since the start of time, have been blamed for everything. Now, she meets the landlord, who seems to be into her. He's typically kind of posh, bumbling countryman you'll see out in Gloucestershire and really anywhere in the English countryside. It turns sinister after going for a walk. She sees a man down a tunnel, and then he is naked watching her, which scares her, and later he tries to break into the house, and she reports it to the police. Now, slowly, just like the trailer, we saw that every man, the male officer, the landlord, and all the men in the village all look the same. Now, the idea that I got from this was that, well, she sees all men as the same. She sees they all make her feel the same, so they all share the same face. But there is another idea. We get the first hint of something supernatural or magic as we see her go to the church after the trespasser, and she remembers her ex-husband as we see a green man on the basin, which is a symbol of fertility and rebirth in European culture. And we also see a Sheila Nagig, who has her womb open there on the other side. Now, it seems like they kind of combine to form one weird creature at the end of the movie. We see awful men throughout, especially in the pub there. She's trying to heal and move on, but starting with the vicar, who says she drove her husband to do what he did, and she could have stopped it if she let him apologise. Why should she? It's not her fault. She was the victim there. The men scoff at her in the pub after saying she's scared. She sees all the men the same as unsafe. The attacker was, or the would-be attacker was let out of the jail there, as flimsy kind of stalking laws do exist in the UK, and I have heard many horror stories of this. Now, she goes home and she thinks that she's been attacked. It seems like she's been attacked by all of the different men so far, and she's seemingly saved by the landlord, who plays the white knight and calls her a damsel in distress. He trauma dumps on her by saying that he was looked down on by his dad, and, well, we also had the kid calling her a bitch for not wanting to play, the creepy vicar, and the police officer saying, oh yeah, there's two sides to every story, which is what we hear a lot in horrific stories like this. And it's all experiences from women, or women that experience, from what I've heard. I don't know for definite, but I've definitely heard that. Now, it is an interesting idea that, well, she's here to heal and get over this. And women are treated by men badly, as also women seemingly exist in these cases for men to take or be taken care and taken care of. It tackles women who are treated by men badly, and also handling the idea that women exist for men to care for them and them to also be their rock and not be a real person. She's attacked and almost assaulted before the Green Man gives birth to cycles of men, each more and more pathetic than the last, and the scars of the Green Men are what the men think the women inflict on them. That's what I got from this. She finally comes to terms and deals with her final one, which is her ex-husband, in that she finally realises it wasn't her fault. She was not the cause of this. He is his own man. He did what he did. She simply wanted to get out of what seemingly was a bad situation. And her friend arrives, and she's sitting there smiling. Now, the car is smashed. There's blood everywhere. She has blood on her. So, my interpretation of this is that an attack did happen. But what we saw, the birth, the weird things and like that, was actually her seeing this in her mind. And she played through all the different men in the village who were awful, and they all were a group hive mind. At least that's what I got from it. But it was a stunning piece of work, another A24 banger, beautifully haunting. The shots, the lingering shots of the countryside and of her were just stunning. It was a thought-provoking piece of art, and I think it is a real contender for Film of the Year. But that is it for this video. Please drop a like down below. Do subscribe with notifications on if you want more from us, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.